This is a new indoor smart lock that works with Apple Home over Thread. It's the MK1 by ThorBolt. It has a fingerprint sensor, a keypad for passcodes, and can be controlled with Siri. But should you buy it for your smart home? Well, let's dive in and see what makes this smart lock great and a few big issues that I have with it. Starting off with the unboxing. It comes in two colors, black and titanium. ThorBolt sent me out both colors for my unbiased thoughts. The boxes look the same, but you can tell by this check mark here which color is inside. On the front we have the lock and the Works with Thread and Apple Home logo, so a thread border router is required, and more on this later on. Inside the box there's an ad for free batteries because oddly enough batteries are not included in the box. There's a door marking template, a user manual, and removing this foam pad reveals all the goodies. A bag of mounting hardware, a set of 2 custom-made keys as a backup option. Then we have the locks themselves in black and titanium. A ThorBolt logo on the battery cover, the fingerprint reader, which I must say, this black on titanium looks amazing. Here's the keypad for passcodes, and on the bottom is a physical key slot and USB-C for a battery backup. We'll dive into all of these features here in a minute, but first, let's get this lock installed. Or I should actually say uninstalled, because unlike other smart locks, this one comes pre-assembled, so you have to take it apart, then reassemble it whenever you're installing it, which I do not like. I think it should already come apart like most other smart locks do. But when you detach the cable here in the middle, unscrew and remove the battery compartment with no batteries included, that also has a HomeKit code in the inside. Then unscrew 2 screws, connecting the batteries to the exterior unit, and now we have the outside and the inside units. The MK1 smart lock is splash proof, so it could be used outside in light weather conditions, but is really designed for indoor use only, for rooms like a bedroom, an office, or even a garage. It can be installed on any door that have a lever or the typical round knob style, and can be used with a deadbolt as well for extra security. The different colors allow you to color match decor in your room or on the walls, so it can blend in better. It's also renter friendly, so if you live in an apartment, then you can replace a lock for a room without causing damage. I'm installing this lock on my office door, and installation went smoothly and works just like any other smart lock. ThorBolt specifically recommends batteries from Duracell or Energizer, but I'm using ones from Amazon and find them to work well too. Then screw in the battery cover from the bottom. Now the first thing that you will notice about this smart lock is the overall design. And yes, it is quite bulky, but it's not that big of a deal in day-to-day use, honestly. But using this smart lock in day-to-day use is, however, a little tricky. Since this lock does replace an actual doorknob, to open the door, you actually have to twist the lock to open it. This was very weird for me to get used to, and I'd imagine family members or guests could be confused on how to operate this lock as well. It does take a little bit of time getting used to. On the front is a keypad that makes it easy for anybody to unlock the door using a passcode, like a family member, a babysitter, or other guests. Though it is a little difficult having to bend down to type in numbers. The buttons are made of rubber, easy to read, and light up when pressed. There's a small light above the keypad that is green when you're typing in a number, and green if the password is right, or red if it's not. The light on the keypad makes this lock especially easy to use in the dark or at night. Though I wish the light came on as soon as you walk up to it, like how the Ecobee thermostat works when you walk up to it. This way you're not trying to find a button to press in the dark. You can quickly lock the door back by pressing and holding the enter button. There's also a feedback sound when typing in codes or unlocking and locking. The Sleek Point app, which is the manufacturer's app for the smart lock, allows you to create up to 100 passcodes from any 4 to 8 digit codes with specific levels of access for up to 50 users. Lockdown mode can be used to temporarily disable the keypad if too many failed attempts have been made a specific number of times over 10 minutes or within an hour. A lock activity is also available that shows how it was locked or unlocked, like manually or with the app passcode or fingerprint, and filtered by a date range. Speaking of fingerprint reader, That's actually my favorite way to unlock this smart lock. I like how it's placed on top, which makes it a natural fit where your hand would go. Just scan and the knob unlocks. There's a light around the fingerprint sensor that turns blue when detecting a fingerprint, and briefly green if it's a registered fingerprint and red if not. It's super fast to respond. I've tested with different fingers and it responds fast each time and is accurate. It has a 99.8% accuracy and gets more accurate the more you scan your fingers, with all data being encrypted and stored locally, and up to 100 fingerprints can be set up. Auto lock can automatically lock the smart lock when you close the door after a certain time period, ranging from after 5 seconds to up to 3 minutes. With auto lock disabled, the lock will remain unlocked all the time, which could be helpful if you have people constantly coming and going from inside, like maybe for a party. Now, one weird thing I noticed about this smart lock is that whenever you close the door from the inside, there's no physical button or switch or way to actually lock the door from the inside when auto lock is disabled. You can use Siri on your phone or automations to trigger the door locking, like when a contact sensor on a door is closed. But again, to do this is an additional cost, and I think there should be some kind of physical button or switch to lock the door from the inside when auto lock is disabled. On the flip side of this, if it was previously unlocked and you lock it while you're inside, when you turn the interior part to leave, only the inside unit unlocks while the outside unit stays locked, and then you have to unlock it to lock it back. Being able to control the lock via the SleekPoint app, a keypad, and a fingerprint reader is a great way to protect what's inside a room. It also works with Apple Home, Apple's smart home platform, for even more features. But before we look at those features, another way you can protect yourself is with a VPN, specifically one by PureVPN, the sponsor of today's video. PureVPN protects and secures your data from hackers, data harvesters, and prying eyes. It hides your location from your ISP, which is especially helpful for viewing region-locked content. PureVPN connects you to the closest server from over 6,000 in 80+ locations to browse at full speed with full protection of your data. With just a tap using the PureVPN app, I can instantly be protected from any threats online. Not only can my iPhone be protected, but since it works with all major devices, I can protect my computer, iPad, and even streaming devices like my Apple TV while watching content. By using the link in my description below, you can get a free 31-day trial and an additional 10% off using my code AdamsTechLife. So go use the link down in my description below and start protecting yourself today. And a huge thank you to PureVPN for sponsoring today's video. The MK1 Smart Lock works with Apple Home, which is Apple's smart home ecosystem using Thread, a smart home standard that allows for fast control and operates in a low power mode to preserve battery life. Now, it does not support Matter, so it's not going to work with Amazon or Google, and it only works with iOS devices and does not work with Android. No third-party bridge is required to use this lock in HomeKit, but you will need IPv6 to be enabled on your router and a Thread border router, which is one of Apple's Thread-enabled home hubs. So either a HomePod, HomePod Mini, or these versions of the Apple TV 4K. Now, without a home hub, you can still use this smart lock in the Home app for local control if you have an iPhone 15 Pro or later running iOS 18. However, a home hub will give you the ability for remote control, creating passcodes for people while on the go, and using in automations with other smart home devices. Like when the door is unlocked, then you can turn on lights or other devices in a room. You can add this lock to Apple Home from the Home app directly or by using the SleekPoint app, which will give you access to all the features this lock has, like creating fingerprints and adjusting settings. I added this smart lock from the SleekPoint app directly, which also adds itself to the Home app, and the process went smoothly and I had no issues. Just press the reset button to reset the lock, scan the HomeKit QR code on the battery compartment or on the one on the outside cover, choose Add to Home, then choose the room it's in, and you can change the name here if you like. Then you'll see a message about access codes, which we'll come back to here in a minute, and now it's added to your smart home setup. In the Home app, you can tap the smart lock tile to unlock it or lock it, or expand this tile and use the slider to lock and unlock as well. And it responds pretty fast thanks to Thread technology. Tapping this cogwheel opens the settings, and here you can see the battery life And there's a section for Manage Access, where you can create 6 to 8 digit passcodes for family members or guests to use the keypad to control the lock. Now, if you don't have any other smart locks in your smart home, then you'll first create your own personal access code when you set up this lock. But if you do have more than one lock in the Home app, like I have an Aqara smart lock outside and this MK1 inside, then your personal access code is one universal code that will work for controlling all the smart locks that you have, and you can change this code at any time in the Home app. For creating and sharing codes for family members or guests, there's a few different levels of access. Resident will give somebody full access to all accessories all the time. You can make them a guest so they can only control specific secure accessories like select security systems and locks. And you can configure access for any time or only on certain days and times. They'll also be able to control the locks and security systems from the Home app on their iPhone anytime during the specific time range as well. Then there's PIN code access, which creates a personal single code that is valid all the time. And here you're able to control which lock a person has access to if you have more than one. So maybe you only want them to be able to unlock the front door and not an office door, and the ability to change the code to whatever you like it to be, and even disable access entirely to all locks. Now, anybody that you create a PIN code access for will not be able to control this lock from their iPhone. They'll only be able to use this code whenever they're physically at the lock. Activity history is also available in the security tab of the Home app for seeing when the lock was unlocked or locked, along with all your accessories and by whom if a passcode was used that was created in the Home app. Since this lock works with Apple Home, this means you're able to use other devices to control the lock like any other smart lock, using an Apple Watch, Mac, HomePod, or Apple TV. But there are some limitations that you should be aware of. You can use Siri to unlock or lock it via voice on an iPhone or Apple Watch, though since the device is considered a secure accessory, unlocking requires authentication, either Touch ID, a passcode, or Face ID, but authentication is not required to lock it back. The HomePod cannot unlock a door with your voice to prevent unauthorized access into your home. Somebody could easily be outside your home and try to use the HomePod to unlock the door and gain entry into the home. On an Apple TV, you can use Siri to unlock or lock the door from any screen, or while viewing the live feed of a camera if the lock is in the same room as the camera in the Home app, and even receive a notification when the door is unlocked or locked for all your smart locks or only specific ones. Speaking of notifications, you can receive an alert on your iPhone or Apple Watch when the lock is unlocked and even customize the alert. Say like you only want to get an alert if you're not at home. One big missing feature with the MK1 smart lock is a feature called HomeKey, which allows you to just tap your iPhone or Apple Watch on a smart lock to control it. I think this would make unlocking easier if you just use something like your watch to unlock it instead of a passcode or a fingerprint. The Home app will not allow you to set up a fingerprint, adjust settings like auto lock, and install software updates. You will have to use the SleekPoint app to use those features as they are not supported by Apple natively in the Home app. Underneath this smart lock, you have this rubber cover that houses a physical keyhole and USB-C port as a backup option. It's kind of awkward to get into, which does make it difficult for somebody to try and pick the lock. The included backup keys are not your typical style or shape for a deadbolt door lock. They're custom made by the company, so it's not easy to make duplicates. To unlock the door, you insert the key and turn it to the right 90 degrees. Then the door is unlocked, but the key stays locked in the keyhole until you turn it to the left to unlock the lock, which then releases the key. The USB-C port is for when batteries are out of juice, and you can use something like a USB-C power bank to provide temporary power to the smart lock. In the SleekPoint app, you have some access to a few more settings, and you can configure settings to your liking, but most importantly, you can see if the lock is using the thread technology and more info about it. The MK1 smart lock uses 4 AA batteries, and batteries are not included in the box. So that is an additional expense if you don't already have batteries. You probably have some laying around in a junk drawer, so it's not that big of a deal. But if you don't, then you either have to buy some or use this card in the box to get free batteries, which honestly looks more complicated than just buying batteries online if you ask me. It's also recommended to use batteries by Duracell or Energizer, but I'm using ones by Amazon and they have worked great for me. After using the smart lock for a few weeks and testing it heavily for this video, I'm still at 100%. And since this lock supports Thread, a low power technology, I'd say it won't use that much battery power in day-to-day use and should last up to a year. If you're looking for a smart lock for an office, bedroom, or garage that works with Apple Home, the ThorBolt MK1 is a great option. It's available now globally for $89.99, and I think it's a fair price for a lock that you can unlock with passcodes, your fingerprint, and control in the Home app over Thread, and again comes in black or titanium. What do you guys think about this smart lock? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one.